Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on how to find property deals using PropertyEngine. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. We're just going to wait a couple of minutes just for a few more people to join. I'm really excited to be joined by Adam here, Adam Hindley. Thank you so much for taking the time. He's going to be sharing a bit about how he's finding property deals, what he does in property. You're an investor and a deal sourcer, right?
Yeah, so I've been doing investing in property and deal sourcing and stuff for the last 2 years now, and it's hello everyone. We're getting some messages coming through as well.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
Messages coming through.
Yeah, so I've been using this system. Literally, I found this system at one of the first property trading courses that I went on, and I've been using it since then. And I know I've referred a load of people to it, and then I think there were one time when I was using it and I sent like a few people a demo of it, and then you were like, what the hell where's all these signups come from all of a sudden?
that is it, yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
was
then we
TikTok or
obviously
something,
started
wasn't it? You
chatting.
put a video on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok or Instagram, and it went kind of semi-viral or whatever, and we just started working together from there. And it's like, for me, it's been insane to be a property, have the perfect kind of like right move for property investors, basically, to my at my fingertips, and then also having the developer at my fingertips going like, can you do this new feature please? And stuff as well. So hearing about all the cool stuff that you're doing with it and all the stuff that's coming up and the stuff that you've just shown me like literally 20 minutes ago before this webinar starts, I'm looking forward to even just trying this stuff myself, never mind awesome. Getting everyone else getting to see it and to show it at the same time. But yeah, it's going to be sick. I'm really looking forward to today.
No, thanks so much for joining. And thanks everyone for joining the webinar. We've got a mix of people coming onto here. So we were just at the Property Investor Show a couple of weeks ago. So we got, I think, quite a few people from that coming on just to see what this is all about. Just let us know in the chat if you came up to us at the Property Investor Show. I'll try and remember names from all the people I spoke to. Yeah, we spoke to quite a lot of people. But what I'll do as well is I'm just going to put a little poll up just to see, because we've got a load of customers on as well. Yeah, have you used PropertyEngine, or is this the first time you're kind of hearing about it? Maybe you've been signed up with us in the past and you've paused or something, and you're considering joining us again. So yeah, okay, we've got kind of 50-50 mix of people who are currently signed up and new people, which is great. But
I think people will be blown away with some of these new features that you've got on there as well, mate. And I think that it's also good as well for everybody's social media, showing that they're developing, showing that they're learning about property and learning how to be better deal finding at different things like that. Whatever you're doing, whether you're looking at investing or whatnot, to take a picture of the webinar and share it on your socials and tag us both in it.
Yeah, that's a great idea for sure. Yeah. So yeah, let's kind of get on with it. So with the webinar, I want to kind of split it up. I want there to be value for both people who are new, who haven't heard about us before, they met us at the show, but also existing customers as well who are joining us to see about some of the new things that we've been working on. So I'm going to kind of go through a bit of everything. So we're going to go through finding motivated sellers on PropertyEngine, finding some property deals. We'll go through some of the new features as well and some new strategies. And yeah, we'll look at kind of diving into the history of some properties that we come across, keeping track of your deal pipeline, so saving everything. So if you're a deal sourcer, that's really important because you can save all of the deals that you're finding and kind of track them through your pipeline there. We go through the comparables, analyzing the deal, and then yeah, more for some deal sources. We've got the branded brochures and report packs as well. And if we have time, we'll touch on some direct-to-vendor letters. We will have a Q&A session at the end as well. So fire away any questions and we can kind of go through those. But yeah, just very, very quickly for those who aren't already signed up with us. Yeah, what is PropertyEngine? So basically, I started PropertyEngine about 4.5 years ago now, when I was looking to get into property myself. Like Adam, I'd been on a training course, and I was really kind of excited to get stuck in, but I was wasting so much of my time kind of going through the portals, like scrolling through Rightmove hours on end. You know, I had all my spreadsheets on the go, and I think anyone who's kind of tried to get started in property can probably relate to it, because you just spend so much time with this like busy work, you know, of just scrolling through listings, and I just thought there must be a better way to kind of filter out the stuff that isn't relevant for investors, so my background being in software engineering, I put together a little tool for myself to kind of automate this. And yeah, some of the people in my network saw it, wanted to give it a go, and yeah, over COVID I kind of started PropertyEngine as a business, to kind of get this tool out to everyone, and to help people kind of cut through all the crap that's on the portals, and just get straight to the listings that matter and the calculators. So yeah, like we were saying earlier, thanks so much, Adam, for joining. Your story is a little similar, I guess, in that you started with the training, right, and then got into property, but you actually do a lot more property than me.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I started. I first attended a training course in June of 2022, and then started really taking it intense. I sold and exited my last business in August of 2022, and then went like full time into property from that point of view there, and did a lot of deal sourcing and a lot of deal finding. I've got like a lot of the time I started out with the rent to rent, because obviously people start out with kind of not as much capital and building from there, and now like really heavily sourcing into BRRs and things like that, whether that's BRRs to HMO, primarily our business, our furnished accommodation, that kind of thing is all based around service accommodation management. So we do a lot of BRR to service accommodation and stuff. And obviously, as we'll dive into further along the line, the calculators that you've got built into PropertyEngine and stuff really, really streamline our kind of deal stacking process, and seeing how well we can stack up the deals quickly. Because the idea is, like you say, when you're looking at multiple deals, it's does it stack? Calling the agent, can I get this offer accepted? No, sweet, right, on to the next one. And then you just need to work through that flow. So it's been a really, really valuable tool for me and my team, and I am looking at expanding my team a little bit into the future. And this is going to be a tool, like we even spoke about it. You're going to come speak at my kind of training events and things like that. So there's going to be loads of stuff that this system does that is so valuable for people in sourcing and people that are wanting to find their own deals as well.
Yeah, no, awesome. I mean, what I would definitely recommend to everyone as well is go and give Adam a follow on Instagram, because he's always, like, every day I'm seeing posts from him, like he's out on a development site or something, like viewing houses, talking about the deals he's doing. So definitely check him out on Instagram there. His handle's right there, Adam Hindley Official. Yeah, some really, really good content from him. Yeah, so like I said earlier, we're going to have a little Q&A at the end. So just fire away any questions, and then at the end, we'll try and scroll through and and answer as many questions as we can. So yeah, what we'll do, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to kind of get into it. Like I said to people who are already signed up with us, I'm going to kind of go through things from the start. So maybe there's some tips and tricks in there that you haven't yet realized. So yeah, that should be good for everyone. So I'm just going to get that sharing now. All right. All right, let me know in the chat if you can see that. If the quality is not that great, we are recording this, so the recording will go out afterwards. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a little bit clearer on there. So yeah, but hopefully it's okay now. Yeah, okay, so when you log into PropertyEngine, this is the first thing you see. We're just giving you a search across the entire country. We've got every listing that's on the portals here just displayed. So yeah, very kind of overwhelming when you first load it up, but obviously you want to narrow this down. So what we allow you to do is we have all the same sort of filters that you get on Rightmove. You can search by bedrooms, property type, asking price, all of that. But then we also have some kind of smart sourcing strategies where we're trying to automate away some of that work for you. So here we've got, we've got some kind of vendor motivation filters here. So we've got this back and reduce filter. So, if the properties come back on the market and been reduced in price, they're struggling to sell. So, there's less of a rush. You're not likely to be viewing a property with 20 other investors, and they might be more open to, a creative offer. I've got needs modernizing, which is great for BRs because you can find those properties that are in need of renovation. Potential negative equity. Very simple. We're just looking at the current asking price compared to what they previously paid. So it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a really good starting point of properties where they're trying to sell it for less than they paid. So there's clearly something wrong there. We've got probate as well. So this works both on and off market. We're actually monitoring the Gazette for properties that are appearing on there. And then depending on how much work you want to put in, you can send letters out, and you can kind of automate all of that with PropertyEngine. And then something new that we're just kind of releasing in preview is this good comparables strategy, which I just wanted to talk a little bit about. So if you're an investor, but mainly if you're a deal sourcer as well, where you're packaging up a deal and you want to sell that to an investor, they want to see that you've got some solid comparables to kind of back that up, right? I mean, Adam, you can talk about this, like, you know, with the amount of deals that you're sending across, like it's all about the comparables, right? So what we're trying to do is build in an automated way to find properties where we can see that there is a really solid set of comparables for that property. And then that just kind of makes your life a little bit easier then. Again, it's just an initial starting point. But what you can do is kind of work through this short list of properties and, you know, manually look at the comparables, run the numbers, and go from there. So yeah, it's super quick to do that.
It's the one that you showed me earlier, isn't it? And I think if it, like I say, when it's done correctly, that is literally what I do. The first thing, as soon as I find a property that I like the look of, or looks like it needs renovation work or whatever, I'm like straight over, okay, what is the first thing? What is the end values of the properties in the area? This is before I even look into thinking about the refurb costs or anything. I need to know, is there enough room from what is the asking price or what the potential purchase price is and the end value of the property to give me enough of a gap to make it even worthwhile diving into a little bit further. If the properties are marketed at 180 and then it's 190 is the end value in the area and it's a wreck, I'm never going to dive further into it than just that. So I know that this is obviously giving us that extra confidence in that movement as well.
It's still in beta at the moment, so there might be a few kind of errors, but it's just meant we're just building it out. We want to get feedback from people, and hopefully it's going to save people a lot of time. Yeah, so we've got that. We've got no chain as well, which is pretty self-explanatory. Currently tenanted, so there's a tenant in situ in the property, and bought and flipped, which is a really interesting one. Basically, we're monitoring the market for properties that have been successfully flipped. And the reason why we're doing that, especially if you're on our higher package and you've got the off market, is you can see properties that have been flipped and actually go out and then buy the owner's details, the contact details, or if they bought in a limited company, you'll just have those details. They just appear in PropertyEngine automatically without having to pay the land registry fee. And that way you've got a way to build out your investor list, because you've got people in the area that you're investing in or deal packaging in who are successfully flipping properties. They've got capital, and you know, suddenly it might be really viable to pay the £3 to get their details and to approach them if you wanted to do a joint venture or to sell deals. So that can be a really good option. It's kind of niche, but it's good to have. And then, yeah, here's all the kind of basic filters that we have. So bedrooms, like I said, everything that you would get from Rightmove. You can also filter based on like specific estate agents as well. But as you kind of scroll down, you're getting more into the specialist stuff. So we've got here, you can search based on planning applications. So you can actually search both on and off market. If there's planning applications currently submitted for that property. So you can actually filter here by the dates of those planning applications, any specific keywords. So a really common one might be searching for outline planning that's been approved in the past couple of years, or actually a change of use. And you can actually filter by the outcome of that as well. And when you do this, you actually see the planning applications in the search results as well. So you can see it right at a glance without clicking in. What's going on with those planning applications, and we highlight those keywords as well. So this can be really powerful as well. We've got some planning constraints here, so you can search in and out of Article 4, flood risk, conservation area. This is a new one, which we're adding again in beta. So we've had loads of people asking about being able to filter by years remaining on the lease. Maybe we've got specialist customers who are specialists in dealing with properties with short leases, and they want to find properties with a short lease. So yeah, now you can search for properties with that short lease, and it comes through. When you click onto it, it tells you how many years are remaining on the lease as well. Even if the estate agent hasn't provided it, we've actually got the data from the land registry directly. And then this is also new, coming out soon. We've got the property licensing. So here we've gone to every council and we have built a database of all of the HMO licenses across the country. So yeah, I don't know if anyone here is doing HMOs, but if you are, you probably know the pain of having to go to the councils and yeah, maybe it's online, maybe it's not. You have to email them or pay for it or do like a PDF or something. We've actually digitized all of the HMO licenses and brought them into PropertyEngine. So here you can filter for properties with or without a license, and when those licenses are expiring. But yeah, if you go into area data, which we'll do later on, you can actually see a heat map of where HMOs actually are in each city. So depending on your risk appetite, you could actually filter within Article 4, which a lot of people try to avoid, but then start looking at low density HMO areas, which you can now do with PropertyEngine, and then consider getting planning permission for a change of use there.
But then again, mate, if it's in Article 4 and then it does have a HMO license, but they're still looking to sell it right about now,
yeah,
then
or it's got a license, yeah,
you can buy an existing HMO if it's got a license. It should have the right planning permission, shouldn't it? So if it's in Article 4 and it's got a license, then it's perfect to buy an existing HMO that you could renovate, you could get more rent out of, you could up that commercial evaluation.
Yeah,
I don't know. Different property strategies there, isn't it?
It depends. This is why we try to add all these filters, because we want to allow people to kind of set up the filters for their own specific strategy. So some people, like you said, they just want to buy HMO licensed properties in Article 4 with existing licenses. Fine, you can do that now. Whereas some people with a little bit of risk appetite might be looking at buying without the license and then looking to get planning permission. If you're going to do that, though, please have a backup strategy. But yeah, just a question came up quickly that I saw. Do we keep the data up to date? It's still kind of in development at the moment. We're hoping to get it out next week. And basically, for the councils where we can get the data regularly, it's kept up to date as often as they release the data. Where we have to contact them and do all of that, we have automated systems to do that, but that would be more every few months. So we are looking at ways to kind of keep it as up to date as possible. We'll probably build in a page at some point where you can see when we last got the data from each council, so you know how up to date it is. Yeah, so I went through a lot of stuff there very quickly, but those are the main filters. So yeah, you can kind of filter stuff down. We're going to try out this new good comparables filter just to see what that's all about. Yeah, in terms of actually searching, so you set your filters up. Obviously, you can play around with these and everything's just updating on the right instantly, which is really nice. But up here is where you actually set up your search area. So here I can put in Leeds, for example. You can also search in multiple cities, so you can put multiple ones in there. A good thing to do as well, if there's postcodes that you don't want to be buying in, you can exclude specific postcodes. So if I search like LS1, for example, I can exclude that, and you can see it's actually cut it out of the map. So it's just cut a hole there. You can also just exclude specific postcodes. So like that's just LS1, but I can go, LS1. What's the postcode in LS1? Like, yeah, you can exclude specific postcodes. This is good if you're doing, I mean, you can use this for a load of reasons. I think it's really useful if you're looking at like flats, for example, doing conversions with flats, because when you're searching for flats, you'll find a lot of new developments or, very recent developments, and you'll just know with your knowledge of the area, like, oh, this building, like it's a whole block of new developments. So you can just start to exclude all of the postcodes of those developments, and then you're only seeing other properties rather than having, there might be 20 listings from one of those developments. So you'd have to otherwise go and hide all of those listings all the time. You can just exclude the whole area. So yeah, definitely configure your areas up here. You can also draw a custom search area as well. So you can just, click on the map, draw, and that will just kind of tack on to whatever other areas you've selected up here as well. So yeah, that's how you set up your area. And once you've kind of put your filters in, we're really flexible. Like you can just do ad hoc searches like this. But if you're actually, you've got everything figured out, configured for an area, I would set up a saved search for sure. So now you can go up here. How do you get rid of the drawn area? You just go back up here to draw custom area. You can click on it, and then you can click on the trash can, and it will get rid of that drawn area. Yeah, so once you've set up your area and filters, you can just go up here now, like leads, BRRs, for example, and save that as a search. And you can set up your email alerts, which are really, really good. They're actually a lot more timely than they are on Rightmove. So even if you're just using basic filters with us, you're not using any of the fancy stuff, you'll still be getting those email alerts within 10 minutes of the agent putting it on Rightmove, whereas Rightmove's own instant email alerts are about 3 to 4 hours. They don't even send them overnight sometimes. So yeah, it might be in the morning you get them. So depending on how on top of things you want to be, our email alerts are really good for that. Yeah, anything you want to add with that, Adam, so far?
Not really. I think there has been a lot of questions, which I think we probably will come over with the area data the area data tab.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of like questions about certain things with there, but like with these saved searches and stuff and the alerts and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's understanding the strategy that you're going to use. Obviously, a lot of people look at different strategies, but it's setting up your filters in that correct way, looking at the areas that you are looking to invest in. I always put because I'm from Leeds as well, if the accent didn't give it away. But I always do I give it a little bit more of a Leeds plus a mile or like plus half a mile kind of thing, just to round out the edges and make sure that I'm not missing anything. And that's super simple with obviously the search criteria once you click on the areas and stuff there as well. And yeah, as we go further into it, like you say, with the calculators and the information that you show, the EPC, I think a big one that obviously people don't even think about is that on Rightmove you don't even get full postcodes or house addresses, and as soon as you click on this, obviously you get the full address to the property. So it's there's a lot of key things that just make searching for properties and looking at things there, because I don't know how many property like education events I've been to where they go, all right, go on to Rightmove, you found a property, you don't get the full address, let's go on to Google Maps and try and find the house number, or try and figure out what the full postcode, or find out what the full postcode is.
Waste of time,
once you've got once you've got the house number, now go find the EPC certificate on the portal there and everything. And if it's available, you've got it in here already. So it's the amount of stuff
we have
that,
the full...
that is kind of there, like say straight away address there. And if that one does have an EPC, obviously if you scroll down, the EPC is going to be there as well, isn't it? So
if it has one.
If
this one doesn't.
It's like have one. And if it hasn't got an up-to-date EPC certificate, then So
no, I think that's really good to add. And I just saw a couple of questions coming in. So someone asked earlier about buying land registry. Yeah, you can do that here within PropertyEngine. So you can just click reveal here and pay to do it with us directly. We do have to charge a 50p extra at the moment, but we're trying to get rid of it. Although now land registry is increasing the prices for everyone to £7 in December. I don't know how many people here have heard about that. But when that happens, we'll unfortunately have to put the prices up to £7 as well. But that 50p will be gone, so it will just be the £7 in December. But yeah, so here's a property that we're looking at as an example. This has come in through the good comparables filter that we've just selected. So like I said, this is a little bit experimental. It's something that we're going to kind of launch in beta. But as you can see, like this asking price is coming in at 152. But if we kind of go into the sold comparables for this area, you can see the prices are substantially higher. Now, I would be looking at this very carefully, like why are these prices so different? We've kind of got the plot sizes here of all of the properties, so we can look at that. Unfortunately, this property doesn't have a floor plan, so we don't have the internal floor area. but we can at least compare on plot size and at least, you know, semi-detached, look at the photos, do a like for like comparison there. But yeah, so for people who already signed up with us, when you're coming in through that good comparables filter now, that's what we've kind of identified automatically. And now if you go into the calculators, the deal analyzers, we actually suggest a calculator based on those comparables, if you've come in through the good comparables route. And when you click on that, it automatically kind of fills in the numbers, which should have a 15% discount on, but like I said, this is in beta. So the thing is, yeah, so with this one here, it's kind of assuming 30,000 refurb. You know, you can kind of expand everything to see all the numbers. These are all of the kind of calculators that we have in PropertyEngine. So very, very extensive. You know, if you're a deal sourcer, you can add in your sourcing fee here at the start, you know, and then when you're sending it out to an investor or whatever, that will all be factored into the costs. So yeah, you can kind of see what your yields coming in at, monthly profit. So this one's not the best, but it is a little bit profitable. But yeah, I'd be looking at those comparables. Maybe we can bring the market value up a little bit. Yeah, like these are kind of 220, 200. Yeah, so like I said, that good comparables filter is just giving you a really good starting point where you can then go in, look at the comparables, just kind of verify everything and tweak the numbers as well. Yeah, for those who haven't yet played around with PropertyEngine, this is the comparable section. So when you go in, you can go right down to the street level and see where all of the properties are. I really like to switch this over to the Ordnance Survey master map as well. So you've just got that really kind of high detailed mapping, and we show you exactly where all of the comparables are. You can hover over any property, like here, for example, and it just kind of tells you when it was last sold. But the actual comparables that match this criteria, so last 24 months, 3 bedrooms, semi-detached, they show up with the little dots here. So it's not like Rightmove where they're just showing you very approximate locations. We're showing you very kind of detailed mapping here of where all the comparables are. If you were doing a, you know, buy, refurb, refinance, or a flip, you know, looking at the floor plan, the configuration there, you might be thinking about adding a bedroom. So you can then, you know, tweak these comparables, get the 4 beds in here as well. There aren't any 4 beds on the street in that with these filters, but if there were, those would come up. So that's what I would do if you wanted to add a bedroom or something. Yeah, so it's kind of up to you how you use the comparables. These are the sold properties, but then yeah, you can go over here to the left. You can see what stuff's renting out for. So these rental figures will have been pulled into that calculator automatically that I just showed you. And then yeah, let agreed. So just saves so much time from having to go on Rightmove, have all those tabs open. You're kind of going between sold properties, rentals, let agreed, all of that. Now you can just kind of click through it, and it's all saved in the system. If you wanted just the very high level, then you can come into here, where if I kind of bring the radius out a little bit, we can show you like an average of everything in the area. So if I take off the, if I put this to terraced as well, for example, you can start to see, you know, prices broken down by bedrooms. I've only selected 3 to 4 beds here, which is why the 1 and 2 is blank. But you can kind of see what those prices are doing over time as well. Someone was asking earlier about demographics. So here you can go into an interactive map, and we kind of show you, it's very simple at the moment, but we just kind of show you like, red is like pretty highly deprived areas, whereas green, relatively low deprived area compared to the national average. So you can do that with deprivation and crime levels. So, you know, this is a kind of very average crime area. So I'd say that's fine. Whereas red is higher crime than the national average, and green is lower crime than the national average. So you can see all of this in our system. Yeah, anything you wanted to add, Adam, about how you use the comparables?
Yeah, I mean, this side of it here, I mean, the comparables is, like I say, it's my go-to. As soon as I find a property that I like the look of, I'm straight into the comparables and to try and find the end value or to see if there's any properties that are kind of hitting that ceiling price of the area. Obviously, and I know that it's like, it's as up to date as like you can get with land registry, really, isn't it? It's like there's always a little bit of a few months delay, so you're not going to get properties that are like sold yesterday. But yeah, it's like, obviously I tend to look for ones that are in the last year to 18 months kind of thing. And then they tend to work really, really well from that point of view there. And then one thing that I do use all the time, especially when I'm looking in new areas, is finding out the capital appreciation rate. So if you go on to the
overview,
the sold, the overview or the sold properties, can't remember which one.
Are you talking about is it this one? Yeah.
The graph here. So over 12 years. So what I tend to do is take the price of what it was, say, in January 2014, just by hovering over it. Then you give the price there, and then looking at what it, like say, it gives you that price there, and then looking at what it is in January 2024. You might even do it a little bit more recently, and then dividing the 2014 price by the 2024 price, timesing it by 10, and getting a percentage of what is, I mean, you times it by 100, divide it by 10. So just times it by 10 once. And that gives you like your average capital appreciation rate in the actual area. So like that as a percentage is really, really key, I find, especially when, as a deal sourcer, I'm not just trying to, and a London-based investor's talking to me about investing in Leeds. I'm saying that, look, these are the calculations. Here's the cash flow of the actual deal itself. But this is why you're also investing in this area, because that capital appreciation rate shows how good this area can be. And like that, and again, comparing that over when we're buying properties and we're investing in buying properties, we don't just care about the 1 year return on investment. We don't care about what the well, we obviously do, but we don't as much. It's like we're holding this asset to get rich, to get it in the longer term, to have this thing in the longer term. And then for that, it's showing you that it's showing what your capital appreciation rate would be, and obviously you can factor that into the actual end value of the property. Then you're working like that as well. So nice. I think that really, really works well for me to give you, because it's so hard if you're trying to Google it and find out what is the capital appreciation rate in so and so. Well, it's like the information is there in front of you over the last 12 years. Yeah.
I mean, this is something that we can actually add in the future. Maybe like get these charts into the report packs as well. I think it's a great idea. But yeah, no, and definitely,
you can use that data as like you'll be able to do that, won't you? Like put that data into a combination to make it a percentage at the end of the day, and you can see what the percentage growth is in the last 3, 5, 10 years, kind of thing. It just shows how good the areas can be.
Yeah, so here you've got that capital appreciation. Over here, you've kind of got the average prices of recently sold properties. So you can see what that kind of distribution is with the outliers kind of removed. Just having a look, sorry, I know we're going to do questions at the end, but there's just some relevant ones here. So the comparables are available for both packages. So yeah, everyone on the starter package has access to this as well. And the comparables, we do bring in price per square foot as well. So I've got my account set up with price per square meter. So you can see here the price per square meter coming through. If this property we were comparing to, because this is the original property we were looking at, if this had a floor plan, then we would have the price per square meter here as well, but it doesn't have that. But for the comparables, we do have the price per square meter.
Is there another one that you can click on quickly, maybe to show that? Just a different.
Yeah, let's have a look. So you can see in the search results here. Yeah, here's one. So we've got the floor area and the plot size for this one. So that way we've got the price per square meter. You can see it here in the search results for that property. And that way then when you're going in, you know, okay, these comparables I'm looking at 73 square meters, 57. The one that we're looking at is 55. So you can kind of see at a glance what that property is that you're looking at and all of the comparables on this side here. Yeah, so that's pretty much the comparables section. There's one thing I want to just show you very quickly. This is new for those of you who are signed up with us already. Now you can go in and see that HMO license heat map that I was telling you about. So I'll just do Coventry as an example, because I know there's a load of HMOs there. So now when you go in, I think we're gonna tweak this a bit because it kind of looks a bit weird, but what we've done here is outlined Article 4 with the red. So you can see where Article 4 is. And then within that, we're showing you like a heat map of where the HMOs are within Article 4. I mean, outside Article 4 as well, but as you can see, there aren't so many kind of around here. So that way, like we were discussing earlier, like Adam said, if you wanted to buy something with a license already, or if you were looking to buy with one of the strategies being an HMO conversion where you have to get planning permission, you can now look at where these kind of high density areas are. So I wouldn't be buying anywhere around here where this kind of high density HMOs are. And what you can actually do, if you're on our premium package, is you can go in as well and see all of the individual properties, click onto them, see the licenses, and get contact details if they're available there as well. So yeah, we kind of have visualized it nicely at a high level like this, so you can see what the density is in all of the cities. But then we do have the granular data as well. Way too many HMOs. Is it still a good strategy in areas such as Coventry? It just depends. So Coventry is citywide Article 4. So I would be having HMOs as a backup strategy. And then I'd have a backup strategy for that, where, you know, because you have to get planning permission because it's Article 4, right? And the whole reason why it's Article 4 is because there's too many HMOs. So you need to do it in an area where there's a low density. Maybe have a chat with the council beforehand as well, speak to their planning officer. So yeah, it's entirely up to you how you do that. But the data's here. You can see what the density is, which is really, really nice. Yeah, okay. So what have we done? We've covered so much already, but okay. So we had a look at the calculators briefly. I'll do it again for this one because this is another property now where we've come in through the new goods comparable filter over here. So we can again go to that suggested by refurb refinance calculator, and you can see like the numbers coming through. If we put the discount in, see how the numbers are changing there. So yeah, like for those of you who aren't signed up, we're doing the stamp duty calculations for you. You can just toggle refurb on and off. You know, if you wanted to do an HMO, you can just flip it over to HMO and just like add the rooms in. It's very interactive. It's a lot easier than having to mess around with the spreadsheet. And obviously the benefit with this is everything is saved in one system. So you don't have all your spreadsheets cluttered around. Everything's saved automatically in here. And you know, when you're putting properties into your pipeline, which we'll get onto, you've then got all the calculators and notes stored against those.
I think the thing to mention on that as well, because obviously you save it to each property, is to use the labels. Like me and my team have so many different labels set up for like for different deals. Like it might be that I find a property and then my business partner, who's the tradesman, I need him to check the refurb, so I'll set a label of like Dan check refurb. So he just goes on to the ones that need to check the refurb prices, and then we're like, okay, sweet, we know them kind of deals are going to work or not, and them kind of things. So yeah, there's a lot of, like I say, different ways. Like you say, you've got loads of different Dan to check refurb. There you go. And then,
I'm doing it for you.
yeah, and then obviously I'll estimate the refurb price. We've got obviously ways that we break down the pricing of the refurb a little bit more, but he's the tradesman at the end of the day. He might see things that I don't see, so he can run through and check them. So it's like a nice way for people to you to know what you're doing as well.
Yeah. So if you're sharing your account with other people, the rest of your team, like Adam said, use the labels to kind of assign stuff to different people. One thing that people do as well, I don't know if you do this, Adam, like they set up labels for specific clients as well. So if you're a deal sourcer, you might be working with John Smith, and then you're finding all the properties that you know John is probably going to be interested in. And so yeah, you can tag the properties generally, you know, like, oh, I'm interested in this, or you know, sent it out to investors. So like more pipeline level stuff, but then also tag it for your specific clients as well. So then you can kind of come in whichever way there, however you want to do that. So the label's completely configurable. We are actually exploring ways to add boards to PropertyEngine as well. So you can visualize everything in your pipeline in like a horizontal board kind of view as well, which I think some people would really like.
Like Trello, Airtable kind of vibes.
Exactly that sort of thing. For now, you just kind of come in at the top and you can see everything that you've labeled here, and view it that way. So if you're using the calculators, you definitely want to be labeling the properties as well, so that you can find them again. And just some other tips. So add any kind of comments you have for the property here. What I would really like to do is, you know, when you're speaking to the agents, you actually type in like, oh, I spoke to so-and-so on the phone, you know, actually write down what was discussed. And because we save it in this timeline view, what happens is if this property comes off the market, maybe it's been reduced, maybe it comes back on, comes on and off a few times, you might come back round to this like 2 months later after it's fallen through. And you'll see your comments in line with all of that activity. So you can really get a feel for, what your thoughts were back when you were looking at this last. Yeah, that's why we kind of do the comments in this timeline view. Another thing I recommend is if you're speaking to the same agent over and over again, you can add notes for a specific estate agent. So if you know there's a contact you have at a specific agent that you're always talking to, or like maybe they're like, they don't take calls after 4 p.m. or something, or it's not worth phoning them after 4 p.m. Like that sort of stuff you can write at the agent level and save that as an agent note. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Yeah, like kind of drilling.
I didn't even know that bit, but that bit's going to be very good. So I forget the agent that speaking to his name all the time.
Yeah. So you can use the agent notes for that. Yeah. Just drilling down into this property a little bit more as well. So we looked at the comparables, obviously, but here we can see that it's owned by a limited company. So we got the link out to Company's House to view that. If we wanted to purchase those individual documents, the land registry, title register, you can do that here. So here is where you just kind of top up your account and buy it there. And here we can see this property has been listed before. Actually, it's been sold before, and here's the before photos. So this is really cool. Here you can see it's the same like as it was in 2020. Like these are the same photos. So you don't have to have all these different Rightmove tabs open now. You can just see it all in one screen. And this is really good because if they're asking for a lot more and not much has been done to the actual property, then it's a really good like negotiation tactic to know that nothing's really been done with the property, and just a couple of years have passed. So whereas if it's completely different 2 years ago, you'd be able to see that here. You can actually view the listing from back here in 2020. I think these are just exactly the same photos, to be honest. You can see it was sold after it was listed. So yeah, we've got this very rich kind of history, which is normally very difficult to find. Yeah, we did the comparables. One thing I probably can't find an example now, but if the floor plan is kind of put in the description as well, we calculate the dimensions of all of the rooms automatically for you. So if you're looking at doing maybe HMO conversions, you can just see at a glance. It will tell you here on the first screen, smallest bedroom is this, largest bedroom is this. So you can just kind of disregard stuff a lot quicker there. Yeah, anything that you think I missed, Adam? I don't know, there's been a few things so far that I've missed.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really like when I am looking at HMOs, especially like I said, recently I've been looking a lot more for kind of social housing, supported living kind of contacts and stuff as well. So having the floor plan so easily accessible and that kind of thing there, and like you say, when there's certain areas where you have the dimensions and stuff on there, it's really nice just to kind of have them there and be able to just see quickly, okay, well, these are the sizes of the rooms. Obviously, to an estimate, you always got to go to the viewings and confirm them kind of sizes and stuff. You never know how well the agent's measuring them, but yeah, it's like I said, there's a few things there that there was actually an example that you said where we had a property in York that we'd labelled as interested. We actually put an offer in it. Our offer didn't get accepted. It came back to market, and then we found it on the back and reduced section. We're like, oh, we looked at that before. Been reduced a little bit. We rang them up, and when it does that, we'd put our offer forward of what we put forward before, and they accepted that offer. So we wouldn't have known that without kind of seeing it. Like, I recognise that one, clicked on it, but then we scrolled down, and in the record you could see that we'd added its tag, and then above that was brought back to market, which was really, really good as well. So
Sorry, I was just going to say that the back and reduced is good like that. It's good at seeing those properties coming back on. Just one thing like to add on that, which I think some people could use, is you can combine it with the currently tenanted. So if something's back and reduced and currently tenanted, those can be really good deals, because if something's come back on the market, if something's fallen through and it's got a tenant, like think if a landlord's selling their property and they had an offer, they accepted an offer, they put an eviction notice across to the tenant, so the tenant's on the way out, and then the sale fell through. So those can be quite good to keep an eye on, because the landlord will probably want to sell sooner rather than later if the tenant's going to be out in less than a month or 2 months. So yeah, you can find quite a lot if you combine back and reduced as well with currently tenanted.
Yeah, I think back and reduced with any other strategy is just a way to find a more motivated person. Like back and reduced and needs modernization is like, okay, they're pissed off, they want to sell it quick. Back and reduced and probate, that's probably got some family member that's not really bothered about the property that wants to just get rid of it. Because I found it a lot with probate properties. It's like, oh yeah, they're based in London or they're based overseas and they've just inherited the house and they just want a quick sale for it, kind of thing. It's like you can get good opportunities from that there.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so yeah, we've kind of covered the comparables, the notes. We looked at the labels, but there's just one other thing I wanted to show, because we've had a few people asking, how can I hide stuff? So basically in like a pipeline type fashion, where you've got your leads, you're going through, evaluating them, labeling them, and then you want to hide them. To do that, all you have to do is just press up here where it says new. So if I switch this over to new, then I'm only going to see properties here which I haven't yet labeled. And you can actually see this, because if I start labeling these, like maybe this one, the numbers don't work. As soon as I label it, it just disappears from the search results. So it's like an email inbox. You can just kind of go through, say, label the bad ones, label the good ones, and that way you're only seeing those new leads. Someone asking how you can hide auction properties. You can just go over here to auction, all auction properties, just click on exclude, and those will be gone as well. So you can hide auction properties if that's what you want to do. So yeah, I think, let me just go back to that property we had open. Just click back a few times. Oh, actually, I saved it, didn't I?
Yeah, Dan do refurb.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Dan check refurb. Why is it not coming up though? That's
all
interesting.
properties. Is it on all properties? No.
Maybe it was definitely on here though.
Yeah.
Or was it in leads? I can't remember now. Okay, if I just start a new search and then go Dan check refurb, I might have removed all the labels before I closed it. No, there we go. There it is. Yeah. Okay, so this was the property I was looking at. We've done the calculator. We've looked at the comparables. We got the photos and all of that. So now, if you're a deal sourcer, what you can do is you can package this up to a brochure. And this will include the calculator that you've created if you've done the calculations within PropertyEngine. So you can go over here to options, create PDF brochure. It's worth noting that for this, you do have to be on our premium package, although we do have a reports that is available on the starter package as well, but it's just not as customizable. You can't really change that much about it, but this one is a lot more flexible. So when I open this up, you can see we kind of put together all of the pages here. So we've got the photos coming through, some key information, EPC, internet speeds, floor plan, and investment opportunity. This is where you can now choose that calculator that we just had, and it's pulling through all of the numbers there. And you can, change the colors. You can put your logo on here. We've got loads of videos on the help section showing you how to do this. What's really good as well with something like this, BRR might work as a flip as well. You could go, BRR scenario, have this presented, and then clone this page, and then you could have this as a flip scenario, for example, and then you would choose your flip calculator and add that on here. So yeah, it's quite flexible. Pulling in some information about the town here, travel times, comparables. With the comparables, you can actually click onto here as well and hide specific comparables and actually filter for those same comparables we had up in the area data section, and kind of manually add these in. So yeah, no, the report packs can be really good if you're deal packaging and you just want to kind of get those brochures out there very quickly.
This bit is like the game changing bit really for me when I'm putting deals together and that kind of thing, because it, like I say, it's so good. Like, since obviously I were using it before this customizable report was out there, and I was like, oh, there's so many things I want to do with like multiple exit strategies and like the choice of comparables kind of thing, because there's some that were pulling in that weren't quite right and all that kind of thing. And it's like understanding certain elements of that. And it's like, I know Morley, for example, they're building a brand new train station, which is going to have direct links to the city centre. So that's going to make Morley a better like area for renting and for that kind of thing, because it's going to have direct central links to the city centre and stuff as well. And obviously you've got areas where you can customize your kind of information and add in knowledge about the area and that kind of thing. So with the way that you can edit that now, and it being a little bit more like Canva-esque, is really good, rather than obviously like how it was a bit stricter before. But yeah, that's really cool.
Sorry, just to jump in, because some people didn't see how I got into the reports. So like I said, you do have to be on the business package for this. But basically, yeah, you just click on this options here when you're looking at a property, and then you press on create PDF brochure, and then you can create using the template here. So this is we only have one template at the moment. So this is the template here. But then what you can do is, once you've set up the colors and you've done the logo and everything, you can actually save this then as your own template. So here I've got some other templates, and then that way, if you've saved the template, it will appear here under your templates, and you can put this into folders and stuff. Here we've got a direct to vendor letter, which shows up here as well, but that's separate. Yeah. So if that's something you wanted to try and you wanted a bit more depth on, if you go into the support section up here, it's also just available on our website under the support tab. There is this video here, packaging a deal with property brochures, because I think we're running a little short on time. So yeah, I definitely watch that if the brochures is something you want to really spend some time on. We're also looking to improve it a lot as well, add more stuff to the brochures. So yeah, any feedback that people have, they want to see something on there. Like Adam said, like let's get the capital appreciation in there as well. It's all stuff that we're looking to improve. I mean, you can add your own pages, and I can just create a page here, for example. Just drag on some text. I can type whatever I want in here. So you'd have a thing about your sourcing company. You could drag on an image. So you can always screenshot stuff and just include it on here, a little bit like Canva. But then obviously you've got all this other information that's done automatically for you. So yeah, that's the reports.
I think there's another key thing to think about for this. Like, I sometimes, if you guys haven't noticed, I like to talk a little bit. So when I'm running through the deals and kind of giving investors a little bit of an overview, I use the deal package review.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I added that just for you, Adam.
Yeah. So I use a system called Loom. So I'll record my screen using Loom, and it's got a little picture of my face in the bottom corner. And you have the deal package review. So obviously, if you don't want to share too much information about the deal initially, you might not have the NDA signed yet, or you just want to kind of give people a basic overview, then it'll take away all of the street addresses and stuff on the maps. Obviously, it's not going to give people if they're going to really know that area, they're going to be able to know where it is. But it's like, obviously, like I say, if I really wanted to work this out, I'd go, oh, it's in Morley, oh, it's next to the train station. You can kind of work it out, but at the same time, it just gives you a little bit of security there, that it's like, look, I want to show you, look, this is in Morley, it's in SL27. Here's the calculations of the property, here's the floor plan and that kind of thing. And you can look over all of the information that you've gathered through PropertyEngine to just give the investor a little bit of an overview of it. So I really like doing that, and trying to just breaking it down with the calculator, and like showing people the calculations and what kind of, then I can speak through, oh, this is exit strategy 1, this is exit strategy 2. Here's where we're getting these kind of calculations from, and that kind of thing. So it's a nice way to, again, you've got your investor packs, you've got your brochures, then you can also show people a little bit more about it like this as well. And I think it also builds trust as you as a deal sourcer, because you're showing the fact that you know your stuff around
the
all
videos
the subjects as well.
The videos are a really nice touch, actually. Just to show everyone what you were talking about there. So the deal package review here is just an option that you turn on just in the settings. So you just kind of toggle it on and off. So here normally, you can see the address, you can see the map and all of that. But if I go up here and click on deal packager view, and everyone has access to this as well, yeah, you can see here it hides addresses, estate agent information. So like Adam said, if they haven't maybe got a relationship with you yet, or you haven't got the NDA signed and stuff like that, you don't want to reveal the exact location. Here, you turn it on, the addresses disappear. You can still see the photos, but like the map is completely kind of blanked out. So you can still see where it is in relation to like the train station and all of that. But we just don't show the street names. And then, yeah, the real main bit is when you go into then the comparables, you can see very visually where all the comparables are still. So it's very visual. If you were doing the Loom video, like Adam said, your clients would have a good idea of what you're talking about, but we've just hidden all of the addresses and hidden all of the street names. So yeah, super, super powerful. If you'd rather do this than the brochures, yeah, you can do the Loom video and just turn on that deal packager view. Yeah, if I turn it off, you see all of the house numbers and stuff come back. Yeah, cool. I think we've covered everything kind of looking at a specific property. Yeah, we did the land reg, we did the brochures. Yeah, you can go out to Street Check as well and Google Maps. Just quick to mention that. So we take you straight into Google Maps to the street in satellite view. So here is really helpful. I like the satellite view because you're looking for maybe issues on the street. Maybe there's some parking issues. You can see all of that when you're going in with the satellite view, and we take you straight to that house number as well. Quick one to mention here is the alerts as well. So you can set up email alerts for a specific property. So if you want to be notified if a property comes back on the market, maybe it's sold STC at the moment, or maybe you want to be notified if it's reduced. Obviously, you can do that at the saved search level for all of the properties in that saved search. But here you can monitor specific properties. And when you do that, it will appear in the search results with this little icon so that you know you're watching that property. So yeah, I want to just very quickly cover, I don't know if you've used this, Adam, the viewing planner, just very, very quickly so people know it's there, because it's one of the more hidden tools, but actually can save you a lot of time. So maybe your investment area is a little bit out of town from where you live. I don't know, but what I like to do, and I built this really, again, going back to how I got started with all of this, like I was building this as an internal tool for myself. Yeah, I was wasting so much time like trying to figure out where all the properties are, what times can I book on with estate agents and stuff like that. So what you can do with PropertyEngine is, let me just search LS1, so we've got something a little bit more local. Normally you would just find everything that you've said you're interested in, you've worked out the numbers, you've done all of that, but just for this example, I'm just going to add a bunch of random properties. So yeah, basically what you do is you just go onto properties here and you press plan a viewing, and you just choose a day that you intend to view it. So I'm going to do tomorrow on the 16th. And once you've added a few properties into this planner for the 16th, what we'll actually do is we'll calculate the route, the optimal route to actually go and view them. So if I open the planner now for tomorrow, you choose where you live, basically like a starting point, and what time you want to arrive at your first viewing. And we'll basically work out the directions and everything for you. So Leeds is a long way away from me, so I'd have to leave at 5:50 in the morning.
I'll be up for you, mate.
Yeah. But here we've kind of worked out, you can do this viewing at 10, you can do this one at 25 past. We assume a 15-minute window for each viewing. So this is really handy because you can just kind of have stuff on opposite ends of the town or whatever, and it just works it all out for you. Or maybe you're going, I don't know, Liverpool, and then you're going across to Manchester. It would work all of that out. The really cool bit is when you're actually phoning the estate agent and you're kind of figuring out what times. If they can do 10 o'clock, great, you just press on that, book suggested time. If they can't do the suggested time, then you can actually open up this drop down. You're on the phone to them. Okay, can't do 10:25. What times can you do? You want anything that's green, really. Okay, I can do 11:40. Great. So if we do 11:40, you see that one gets booked in, and these other ones that I haven't booked yet get shuffled around. So if you're doing viewings, trying to cram in as many viewings as you can in one day, definitely check out the viewing planner. It can save you a lot of time and headaches with that. I don't know if you've ever used that.
I ain't used the viewing planner, to be honest. That's something that I haven't really dived into, especially when I'm looking at kind of investing in some properties out of area, especially like the supported living contacts I've got and stuff. They're wanting stuff that's in specific areas. So when I am doing that, I will definitely look into viewing them in as well. I think one thing that we haven't actually mentioned, which I really liked when we started out with, is a lot of people might want to look for properties on Rightmove and things like that, but you've actually got the link. Copy and paste link coming in the other way, haven't you? So it's like, if people do search for stuff on Rightmove and you find a property that you like the look of, but you want to do all your calculations, then as Jamie's showing you now, you can literally get the link from that property.
Yeah.
Whatever that property is.
So if you've got a Rightmove link, you can just take the Rightmove link up here, come over to PropertyEngine, and then just paste link in the top right, or you can just press / on the keyboard to just do it as a shortcut. Paste the Rightmove link in, and then we show it to you here on PropertyEngine, and that way you get the full address, you get, you know, all the comparables and everything. I mean, this is, what is this? Flat. So with flats, we tend to have slightly less data because there's just less available. But yeah, still you get the Zoopla link that way as well. But I mean, it's worth it just for the full addresses, isn't it? Like you said, you find something on Rightmove, paste it in here, get the full address. You don't have to muck around in Street View and do all of that manually.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think there's just one more thing to cover. I know we're overrunning a little bit. So hopefully, if you want to pop off, I mean, we will do a recording, but I would stick around for the Q&A because we've got a lot of questions coming through there. So if you have any questions, stick around for that. I just want to show some off-market stuff. So with the off-market, it's a lot of work, but we're basically providing an alternative to, you know, just going around leafleting an entire area. So we're just giving you a little bit more data to direct where you're sending those letters to, or where you're directing your time and attention to. So the way that off-market works, it's not ready-made off-market deals, because, you know, PropertyEngine's all about, you know, putting together those deals in the first place. The way it works is we just have all addresses. I need to start a new search because I've cleared everything here. We'll go off-market. We just have all addresses in the UK. So my map's just gone completely yellow here. 32,000 properties, 32 million. And what we're doing is then combining that with the data we have to help you narrow that down. So 329,000 properties in Leeds. And so what I can do now is I can search based on like planning permission, for example, like what of these properties have planning applications. So again, all of those filters that we had available before, you can still use those filters. You can still filter based on in and out of Article 4, whether it has a license or who owns it. If you use any of the like listings filters, so asking prices, date that things were added to the market, stuff like that, now you're searching based on if it's previously been on the market. So something that might be good here is finding properties that maybe have been rented out previously, but, you know, more than 5 years ago. And that way you can then get a kind of list of properties, you know, where there hasn't been a rental listing hasn't come on in over 5 years. Or one good one that we do have, which is more of an off-the-shelf, off-market one, but you still have to put a lot of work in, is the probate. So with the off-market probate, like I said, we're monitoring the Gazette, and we're kind of pulling in the properties from there. So a lot of the time they'll come on to here before they go on the market with an estate agent, because there hasn't been time yet to go to an estate agent and actually put the house on the market. So by doing it off market, you might just get in there before it goes open to the general public. And yeah, the way this works is you need to send letters. So like I said, it's a lot of work, but we're just trying to make that a lot easier for you and facilitate that for you. So if you click on here, we've got the photos. This will be from when it was previously listed for sale, which we do have for this property. We've got the probate notices. If there were any planning applications, you'd see that here as well. Sold transaction history. You can buy the land reg details as well from in here. We don't need to, because this is a case of probate, so we've already got those kind of details. But what you would do is kind of look through these properties. If there aren't photos, we do pull in the street view as well. So you can just go straight into the street view and have a look. But just for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to select all of these, and I just hold it shift down to select all of those. I'm going to unselect this retirement home here, and yeah, now I can go up here to actions, and I can do create direct to vendor mail merge. And here you can choose whether you send the letters out to the actual property address or whether you send it out to the executor of the estate. So it's up to you. You can do both. You can do executor or property address if we don't have the details of the executor. So it's up to you how you do this. Here I'm just going to do property address. So I can click on that, choose the template that's going out to the property address, and then create mail campaign. And what this will do is it will put together a little mail merge for me. You can see I've got all of the recipients here on the left, and then I can click on that. And then we've got this template that we've kind of automatically put together. So what I would do is I would just change the wording of this, add your details in, and then once you've changed it, you can then apply those changes to all recipients. So just go apply to all, and then it will kind of merge it in all of those mail merge tokens. So, you know, the street here is going to be different for every property. And then, yeah, you can send it out, and we will actually print and send the letters for you if that's something that you wanted. I believe the pricing at the moment is 75p per letter, and we don't actually charge, we don't make anything on that. We just use a service called Stamp, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, but we kind of manage it all for you. So we just charge you what they charge us, and you can send the letters all through PropertyEngine that way. So yeah, we've got people using the off-market probate, and you have to send quite a lot of letters, and it is a waiting game. But if you're following up and doing it well, then it can be a really good strategy to get stuff before it hits the market. So yeah, the words and everything are all editable. You can change everything that's on that template. So yeah, the letter's great for off-market probate, but any kind of niche off-market strategy that you might have, you can kind of tune the filters, plug the filters in whatever you need, and then you can send the letters out through PropertyEngine, and all of the calculators and stuff are still available for those off-market properties. So yeah, I think we've covered most of the main stuff now. We've done most of the new features as well. So the HMO density, heat maps, searching by HMO licenses as well. And the good comparables filter, which we looked at earlier to find properties with those good comparables already.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, Adam?
Yeah, I think with the off-market bit, what's really good for me is that now that I've been doing this a while and I've developed good relationships with agents and things like that, and the agents are sending me deals before they list them on the market as well. Sometimes I found it a little bit annoying to not have, like I was doing it on Next Door Neighbor, which is Next Door Neighbor's property, which is listed or something like that, or one on the same street. And just trying to remember and finding where that is. But obviously running it on the off-market side of it, or running it purely on the calculator tab and saving it, means that you can use them calculations on the off-market properties better as well. But yeah, I think that, like you say, I think we've gone over everything that we've kind of gone over in an hour and 8 minutes is pretty
very quickly,
crazy.
Yeah,
but I think it's definitely like a good overview where you will feel better just kind of playing with the system a little bit more and understanding what you do. And like me and my team use this, like a couple of sources that I've got working with me at the minute, we all use this system, and let's say it's the only one that I will teach them how to use, really, because I think it's just so well rounded in everything that it can offer.
Nice one. Yeah, just one thing to add with the off market as well, because someone was asking, you know, is this properties that have fallen through? So the off market is just all addresses, but then you're searching based on data we have. So yeah, maybe they've been listed before and they've fallen through. Maybe they've just got some certain planning permissions or licensing or something. You can do fallen through properties without going in via the off market route. So that means it's available on the basic package as well. And for that, you can just go here to for sale, and then sold STC no longer on the market. You would just show sold subject to contract properties here. And then you can filter by the time as well, when it kind of came on the market and when it fell through. And then you can still you know, kind of label those, do the brochures, stuff like that. If you're on the premium package, you can do the letters that way. So that might be easier if the off-market section's a little bit overwhelming. But we have some people who have like very kind of niche strategies that they're dialing in on the off-market section. So that's why we have that. Yeah, the marketing tab is basically just where all of your created mail campaigns. Sorry, this test account I have just full of them. But yeah, brochures, campaigns, they all just get put in here basically, and you can create folders, you can organize them, which I totally haven't done in my demo account. But yeah, you can kind of create folders and organize this however you want to. So yeah, I think that's most of Property Engine. So what we'll do now is we're going to just go on to the Q&A, take some questions. We've also been asked a ton of questions, so we're going to go through those as well. Unless there's anything else you wanted to share, Adam, just off the top of your head.
I think we've covered anything, and I think some of the other little bits that I wanted to maybe want to mention was going through the questions anyway. I think some people got some questions about it, because I know that obviously there's people asking about the rent-to-rent model thing in there. I think that it's cool to mention that you can pull in the rent properties from Rightmove with the copy link.
Yeah.
And then you can do like a rent-to-rent calculator on the properties that are on Rightmove there. Obviously, you can go on if you have got the off-market section, you can go on the off-market section, find that actual property yourself, and then do a rent service accommodation calculator or rent to holiday let calculator on that there from that point of view. And it gives you kind of some basic numbers from that. And then obviously if I was then putting a report together, I tend to do my service accommodation report slightly differently. But if I was putting a report together through the Property Engine system, I could create a 50% occupancy, a 70% occupancy, 100% occupancy service accommodation calculators, and then add all of them to the actual report on different pages and that kind of thing as well.
Nice. Yeah. So, okay. Let's just kind of run through some of the questions quickly. The rent-to-rent model, like you said, you can do it with the different calculators there. We do have a for rent section, and you can see everything that's for rent on Rightmove, like Adam said. And we have rent-to-rent calculators. So we have a rent to SA, rent to HMO calculator. And then, you can filter it based on condition there. The thing is most of our filters are around like adding value for a property that's for sale. So we don't have a huge amount of, creative filters for rent to rent yet, but we do have all the deal analyzers and the data there to actually do the analysis. Someone was asking, current user, love the platform, would be good to have a property renovation tool. I'm not 100% sure what they mean by property renovation tool. Maybe a calculator like for the works inside the property. I don't know.
Maybe breaking down the refurb into different areas. I think well, from my experience of it, I have like an external spreadsheet which I've used to break down the refurb costing, and then I'll put my refurb price into the Property Engine price. So I guess that you can go, how far down do you want to do that? Do you want to get information about how much it costs to plaster a room in Leeds versus what it does in Brighton and all that kind of stuff? I guess it's something that obviously as you're going through and calculating a refurb, you might have like tick boxes, or bedroom 1 might cost this much, bedroom 2 might cost this much. I don't know.
We could add something in where people just configure like a template then, and then they're going onto each property and just like you said, checking it off. But it's worth mentioning, like we said earlier, like stuff's getting added all the time to Property Engine. So any feedback like this is really useful for us, because it means, we listen to how many people are asking for different features, what their use cases are, and then we can get them built in based on what the demand is from everyone. What's the criteria for?
I think it's going to be good. I'll let Jamie know as well, and he can sort it out.
Adam gives me a lot of feedback. Trust me. What criteria is the potential HMO conversion filter based on? So that's looking at 2 to 3 bed properties, but properties with a significant internal floor area. But the main thing with that is, I didn't actually click it on the demo. Let me just get my screen up again. The thing with the potential HMO conversion is the main point is we just show the floor plans in the search results. So we got a lot of feedback from people doing HMO conversions where they just need to see the floor plans instantly, and they can just, completely disregard properties you know, after having a glance at the floor plan, you know, because the configuration of the property doesn't work, where the stairs are located, where the kitchen's located. You know, if you're looking at where the kitchen is, you need to think where the plumbing goes and where you can then move the kitchen if you wanted to turn the existing kitchen into a bedroom and put an open plan kitchen in somewhere else. It's all stuff that you just kind of get a feel for as you start to get more experience with this stuff. And so we wanted to just enable those people who are doing HMO conversions to just see the floor plans really quickly, so they can just kind of scroll through and see properties there. But like I said, we're also looking at a number of bedrooms, 4 beds as well, sorry, and then we're looking at the internal floor area for that kind of potential to split rooms. JV partners vetted to make sure that they're compliant. We don't just to go all the way back to that JV thing that I was talking about. It was about acquiring leads of people who are flipping houses. So those are investors with funds. So they're not vetted leads. It's just a way for you to reach out to people who might have funds in the area who you can then JV on or sell a deal to. HMO in Article 4 areas, yep, you can filter for those now. That did come out earlier on in the year, just to show you that you can just go in Article 4 area, and then this is filtering for properties in Article 4. You can flip that over to then hide properties in Article 4, and then you can see the map here. We've just kind of cut out all of the Article 4 areas there. Crime heat map we covered. If you wanted to test the email alerts, you can just put in a really wide area and just set up the email alerts, and then you'll be getting them like every day. So if you wanted to test that they're working, you could just have a very wide search area, I guess. Yep, recordings will be sent out afterwards. There's so many questions.
Yeah, I think someone put something before about kind of looking at signing up to PropertyEngine, or like having property data as well. And I think that it's like you can see within that area data tab all the kind of information that I would ever look for on property data is in there already. So I feel like
I think the thing, just comparing us to like some of the others, the main thing about us is we do have those filters where you can search for, you know, properties with good comparables, properties that are suitable for a BR, stuff like that. We do have those like other websites, but then we also have all of the free form filters for you to then just open your search up. You know, if you've got a niche strategy or you want to kind of dial in specific filters, you can do that. We're not confining you to specific strategies or like sourcing lists or anything like that. So we do just have all properties on the market on here, and you can filter for those however you want to do that. So yeah, it's completely up to you how you use the system. Someone's saying they use it every day in their sourcing and construction business. That's great to hear. How far back do the comparables? Oh, how far back should we do comparables to give near accurate? Okay, I think they're saying good estimations. So with the comparables, I would only look back, you know, kind of 18 months maximum. I don't know what you kind of normally look at, Adam.
I think you can kind of tell through the flow of the market, really. Like if you are involved in it enough, you should realize when the property market is going up and down, and been like in 2020 when we had a huge spike where obviously the mortgage rates were like really low, and they were doing really low mortgages to get people to buy houses and stuff like that. Then the price houses went boom and went up really quick. So if you're using comparables to them, then we're just about kind of after the dip, we're just about kind of maybe getting to around a similar level right now. So I think if you use the looking at comparables, but you look at kind of maybe look at sold property data in the area and stuff as well on that chart, on that graph, and you can kind of see how the data is trending. So you know, right, if we're trending down, then actually the comparables that sold recently might not be that good. But if they've sold like I say, like that is there, like obviously we had a bit of a spike a month ago or 2 months ago on what that is saying there. So it's like it's just knowing where the properties are trending to use the comparables really. But yeah, I think anything within like the last 6 months I'd class as a very good comparable, and then anything within 18 months is still pretty good. But yeah, obviously think about them trends, because if you are in a very, very much an upward trend, or we've got a lot of positive information from like the budget or from government like speeches or anything like that, then You might be in an uptrend. It might easily put you in a downtrend. So it's like, you've got to think about, as much of all this works really, really well in terms of I call like a technical capacity, working out all your numbers.
Yeah.
Very much need to have your ears to the ground in like a fundamental capacity, and like what's going on in the real world, what's happening around us, to give you like the most secure and best information you can get, really.
Yeah, you need to be speaking to agents, don't you, as well? Estate agents, letting agents, like they're hot on it, you know, in the area that you're looking at. So definitely build those relationships and speak to people on the ground in the area for sure.
Yeah.
We are looking at, going back to the comparables, we are looking at ways to make slightly older comparables more usable as well. Basically providing a, not inflation adjusted, but like house price index adjusted figure. So that way, if something is a couple of years old, theoretically we can adjust that price based on what Adam's saying with the, you know, trends,
Capital appreciation and trends,
to what that would be in today's value, you know. So that's something that we're looking at doing in the future. Yeah.
I think someone asked a question here about, how do I find below market value properties? Is it different from back and reduced? And I think that, I mean, there's definitely filters, and you can show kind of like, obviously when you go on back and reduced, it does show what the price was and what it was reduced to. But at the end of the day, like there is an element of like, this system does a lot. It does a hell of a lot for us, but you need to speak to people. And like, you need to ring the agents, find out. I mean, my general way of ringing the agents is I'll find out what the end value is potentially. I'll figure out a basic idea of what the refurb is. And then I'll figure out what can I pay to hit my return on investment that I want to target. After I've worked that out, I'm going to call the agent and go, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I would love to come and view the property, but if I do come and view the property, the offer that I'm going to be putting in is around X amount. Would this be feasible? Can you put this forward to the vendor now? And then if they're serious and they're happy about it, then I can come view the property. And when you're doing that, you're cutting through a lot of the rubbish straight away. You're getting down to, okay, can I actually buy this property for what it's worth? And then you're never going to be able to know how much you're actually going to pay for the property until you've rang the agent, because that asking price is just what someone's put down. It's not what they might take a below market value offer because you're a cash buyer and you want to move quickly, but they might have had a load of viewings there and they've got some really good offers. So it might be like 20, 30 grand above the asking price. If you're not doing the actual work side of it and calling people up and speaking to people, you're never going to be able to know whether it's going to be a below market value deal or not.
I think, that's really a really good point. And I think the other thing with below market value as well is, if you're doing something like refinancing, like with a BR or something, like you've got to be really careful with it. You need to find properties where you can add enough value. Like it's actually about the condition, you know, because if you pay, you know, let's say £80,000 and you're like, oh great, I got this at a steal. And then you like do a very, very light refurb, and then the valuer comes out to give you your refinance. And they see that like the condition is like only slightly better than what it was when you bought it. It's like, well, you paid 90 grand for it like a few months ago. So you have to really show that you can add value to these properties if you're looking to uplift the value and then refinance. Because otherwise the valuers, they don't tend to like, you know, very minor cosmetic refurbs and then trying to claim, you know, inflated valuations. Yeah. Did you want to do
I think that it's like, I would potentially look at using you can almost use the reports in this capacity here to create something like a valuation report. So it's like, if you have got good comparables in the area, you can show like, look, this was the value of the property. This is what we bought it at. Here's what the comparables of the other properties are that look really good. And then you can use that as like, okay, when people come to revalue your property for refinancing, you go, here's my report on what I think it should be valued at. They'll appreciate that, because that's all research that they're just going to have to go away and do anyway. So if you're doing the brunt of that for them, then putting together a refinancing report kind of thing would be a good idea. And you've got all the information that you can just kind of bang in there. Yeah,
you can do the reports, or like we were showing earlier, you can do that, the old deal packager view and the Loom video.
yeah, exactly.
Nice one. Let's let's have a look at some more questions.
Yeah, there was someone saying about flat comparables, and I know that's all on there as well, isn't it? Like all kind of sold flat comparables and stuff is on there.
Yeah, we've just been looking at houses really here, but flats, yeah, everything is on here. So flats, there's comparables for that. Again, internal floor areas, things like that. So you can still get the price per square meter and stuff coming through on there. Does the BTL calculator cover all outgoing costs such as service charges, council tax? Yeah, so if you have a look at the buy-to-let calculator, we give you this very simplified view to start with, but I always recommend just switching into the detailed view where we've got all the figures coming through. So here you've got like agent fees, insurance. If you have like a ground rent or like service charge, you can add that in as a custom monthly expense. What we do have though, if you switch over just with a single let, those are normally the costs that you have. With a HMO, for example, that's when you're starting to pay the council tax and you have all the kind of electric bills, water, broadband, stuff like that. So that's when we include those fees for you automatically. I mean, you can still add them in to your single let one if it was like all fees included, rental or something. This very flexible calculator, you can just configure it however you want to. But with the HMO, we kind of fill that in for you by default, and then you can just kind of tweak it. Same with the holiday let; those fees are in there as well. So yeah, the calculator does cover all of those costs. The good comparable option only for premium, so it's going to be available on both packages, but it's going to be a beta feature. Just we're just getting people to test it and see what their feedback is, and it's going to be coming out later on this week to everyone that's been on the webinar. And yeah, we just want to get people's feedback on it before we kind of announce it, you know, as being a feature ready for everyone to use. Is there a way to hide properties? Yeah, you label them like I was showing earlier, and then you just look at the new properties, and that way you're only seeing properties that you haven't yet labeled. Let's have a look. How can I access tutorials for various functions? So up here, like I said earlier, we have the support section where I've done a bunch of videos, and there's a bunch of articles like showing you how to use the different parts of PropertyEngine. So this one's more in depth on the letters, packaging a deal. We've got all of that there as well. Are there any plans to introduce commercial to Resi? Commercial is not something that we cover at the moment. We really want to kind of nail the residential side of things first, and then start looking at commercial. But I think longer term, it is something that we will look at. Can you guys pull in non-standard construction flag from the EPC? I think that's a great idea. I'll put that on the feature request. What else have we got?
I think a question from me is obviously as I'm working with a large, like I'm growing my team and things like that. Obviously the way that it kind of works at the minute is the team use one account, but is there going to be like a way of kind of having people on like a team view or like a workspace view kind of thing? It's kind of a question that I would ask.
So I don't want to reveal too much because there's a loads in the works, which isn't quite ready to show yet, but we basically are putting together a new system where you can kind of manage all of your pipelines, everything in a very kind of visual way. And part of that is going to be, actually properly inviting your team members in, and it will all kind of be updated in real time. But it's something that's in development, coming out in a later update. At the moment, we just tell people, you can just share an account with your VA or your team member, and you can see all the notes that you're both leaving then that way. But we will have proper team accounts later on down the road. Watch this space. Can I find properties?
Little questions?
Can I find properties not for sale for a D2V opportunity? Yes, we covered that with the letters. How can I hide auction properties? Using the exclude option doesn't work. The exclude option should definitely work. So if that's not working for some reason for you, just get in touch. It might be that specific property the estate agent hasn't listed as being an auction property, so we need to just tweak that a bit. Is there a failed to seller auction filter? Not at the moment. You might be able to kind of tune the filters to get that out. I don't know if you have any ideas, Adam, because you could look at properties that have fallen through that were auctioned.
back. No, it won't be back and reduced because it might not be reduced. But
I think you could do
that is quite interesting. That though, like the auction
I'm
properties
just
that
thinking
are
what we
not
could do with that.
sold.
That might be a future filter.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Great. On the reports, very, very detailed. Can you show how you went onto the report section? Yeah. So we covered all of that again. What kind of report is available on the starter level? So it's just very basic. You can have a play around with it. You can actually change the logo, but you can't customize any of the pages. And we're not going to be making any like future updates to that report that's on the starter package. And eventually we're just going to stop selling that as an option because we're spending all our time now developing this new customizable report option. But it won't disappear for people who are using it. We're not removing it for old customers, so don't worry about that. If I have an off-market deal, can I make a brochure? Yep, you can do that. You just have to upload all your photos, obviously, and do all of that. Do you have plans to cover Scotland? At the moment, we're not going to cover Scotland, just because, again, we want to really nail the residential market in England and Wales where all the data is available, because Scotland doesn't have that much data available for it. So we just couldn't add that much value, I think, for Scotland right now. Yeah. Can you compress the PDF so it could be a bit more easy to email? Yeah, great feedback. We'll look at doing that. Did I see you can organize a map route when looking at a property? Yeah, that was the viewing planner. So there's a video on the help section if you want to see how that works again, and also there'll be the video recording sent out. So yeah, that's what you need to use the viewing planner for. Do you see any, Adam, that you want to
Yeah,
answer?
I mean, there's the two main ones. I mean, one of them I would love to know about is there any plans for a mobile app?
Not the mobile app, no.
The amount of time
apps,
I spend screen recording when I'm making my Instagram
know.
videos and stuff.
We are looking at doing a mobile app. The only thing with the mobile app is, we're a very small team, and just all the time we spend building the mobile app, it's time not spent actually building out the platform and adding in more features and improving the filters that we have available. So it's something that we want to do, but it's going to be more of a slow burner type thing, because don't forget, you can use PropertyEngine on your phone. Just for everyone who didn't realize that, you can log in on your phone. You can use all of the calculators, get access to all of your notes and all of that on your phone. So yeah, it already works on the phone. It's just,
you can add the icon as well. I can't remember how you do it.
Yeah,
but you can
add it to your home screen
as a home screen. So it's just like a bookmark, as if you'd have like a tab on your browser. But it's an app on your home screen, so you click it and it'll take you to like the home page or the login of PropertyEngine. So I do use that when I am using it on my phone, but I'll tend to use it on desktop more than anything.
Do you get the property sold STC before sending out the deals to investors? What do you do normally, Adam, when you're deal sourcing?
So if I get why I like doing it the way that I talked about doing it before, when I call people up and we get the offer accepted, or like said yes, they're interested in that property, come to a viewing, I will then try and look to sell the deal at that point. I'll inform them saying, look, I haven't viewed it yet, but I've got the below market value offer accepted, or I've got the offer accepted where I know the numbers worked. As long as we go to the viewing and everything's confirmed on our normal DD that we've done, then I'll then obviously we're ready to go and we can move forward from there. And if the pictures are a hell of a lot worse, or like the viewings a hell of a lot worse, I'll go back to the agent and I'll go like, well, look, it was a hell of a lot worse, that we had to reduce our offer, and then we'll go from there. Some deals fall out of bed, some deals don't. It depends, but I'll tend to see what I'm doing in terms of because I'm not going to go and view a load of properties that I don't know if I'm going to get my offer accepted on, because I know that at the asking price it doesn't work, but 20 grand below asking it might work. So if they're going to be open to a 20 grand below asking price, then I'll go view the property, and then we'll look at it and see what we can do from there. If not, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste the agent's time, and they appreciate that.
Nice, yeah. Someone's asking, I want to filter by bedrooms and I need to look at rooms in ascending order. Yeah, you can do that with fewest and most bedrooms here on the sort menu. So that's how you would do that. Yeah, when will PropertyEngine become an app? Yeah, we just covered that. How can I upgrade to the?
I like there's someone saying about capital appreciation done in like a heat map view in terms of, I guess, certain percentages mean certain things. So it's like you can see what areas in the UK have got strong capital appreciation over the last, like, again, 3, 5, 7 years kind of thing.
No, that's a great idea. I think we can add something like that in like a regional map to do that. How can I upgrade to the business package? You need to just reach out to me and I'll be happy to get that upgraded for you. I use the planner. It's awesome. That's great to hear. It does everything I need. I just need to find investors. Great. Do you have grid comparables for flats? We covered that one. Is off market on the premium package? Yes, but like I said, you can kind of work around it by still looking at sold subject to contract properties in the on market section, just by toggling this onto sold subject to contract. If you filter by off market only, is there a way to remove those that were marked as sold subject to contract before they were removed? Yes, there should be, but yeah, the way you do that is if you go into off market, you should be able to, oh, we might have got rid of it actually. There was an option here to hide sold subject to contracts. What I'll do is I'll reach out and answer that question in a bit more detail. Are there any features that are limited to a certain number of users per month? And so, yeah, unlike other websites, we don't have any limits. So you can just use, you can search in unlimited areas. You can generate unlimited reports. I mean, the only thing that does have limits is like the letters and the land registry title registers, because you just have to pay for each one of those. So yeah, that's just, like I said, we're just passing on the cost to you. We're not making anything on that because you're already paying for the monthly subscription. Are those refurb costs calculated or do we input those? Yeah, you have to calculate those yourself. We just kind of fill in a default. And yeah, you can tweak that based on what's in the photos. What's in your experience a real average occupancy rate with rent to rent and rent to SA? This might be a good one for you, Adam. I normally go around the 60 to 75% mark.
Yeah, I mean, it depends completely on your areas and your strategies and that kind of thing. Like, I personally, like, if any of you guys that are still in here know me and know my background with service accommodation, that kind of thing, I really don't like the whole 70%, 50%, 70%, 100% occupancy rate, because what is 70% occupancy if I've got a really, really high nightly rate? It's going to be really good cash flow in that month. What is 70% occupancy if I've got a really low cash flow? What's 100% occupancy if I've got a really low nightly rate? It doesn't matter. So the market fluctuates so much that your average nightly rate and your occupancy rate is never, like, it's never the same. It's never really comparable. I often work backwards in that capacity and go, how much money do I want to make? What occupancy do I expect? What does that mean I need to charge? Does that fit in with the area? So it works in terms of, like, you might be in like a really key city, like a Brighton or a Manchester or a Leeds, Liverpool kind of areas, and you get really good occupancy rates at certain times of the years. But then there's other times where it's a lot quieter because there isn't the demand there. So there's so much more to it than just kind of your average nightly rate and your occupancy rate. And I think that that's where sometimes service accommodation is sold as a bit of a dream. It really needs managing as a business and treating like a business rather than just get a rent to rent, get a property and then stick it on Airbnb or booking.com and you're going to make loads of money. It just doesn't work like that, especially not anymore. Market's too saturated.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you either have the capital to do something more hands off, but rent to rent is typically something that you start off with, like you said, when you don't have that capital to start out with, but then you have to appreciate that you're then basically setting up a business. Like, it's going to take more work when you're doing these sorts of strategies. So yeah.
No, definitely. I think that's it. And I mean, I love rent to rent, and I think rent to service accommodation is a great strategy when done correctly. There's too many people that kind of try and sell a dream that it can be done super easy, that you can make £1,000 a month being completely hands off doing rent to rent. The inflation, the mortgage rates has increased the rents, the cost of living crisis, everything that's kind of gone up in the rates of that is just diminishing and killing the cash flow of rent service accommodation. So hence why I would rather go into this model where you might spend £1,200 on, say, an apartment, for example. You might spend £1,200 a month on rent, but actually if you buy that apartment, it's 130 grand. It might be a mortgage payments of £400 a month on that property. So it's like rather doing buy to SA in that capacity, and obviously buying a property at that amount, plus I know flats don't capital appreciate as well, but you're going to get the capital appreciation that they do have with that as well. Then it might be the fact that you need to put 35 grand down or 30 grand down rather than 10, 20, but it's waiting a little bit and actually owning the asset and getting better cash flow from the asset going to be better than doing a rent to rent? I'm not the one to answer that question, but I want to supply people with the right knowledge, and then they can make a decision of what's going to be the best strategy for them.
Yeah, it's entirely dependent, isn't it, on what your goals are. Okay, thanks for all the info. Great new tools have been added. Could something for RICS surveyors to add their estimates? I'm not quite sure I understand that one. Are you saying, so you can add a section into the calculator, you can add a field where you can put in like the survey costs and stuff like that? Or are you asking for like a form where...
I think he's more maybe thinking about like RICS valuation officers doing the end values of certain areas and things like that. But I think that's just probably going to be something that would be way too expensive and is way too dependent on different property types and different areas and things like that. More than anything, is my take on that. That he's thinking about, well, RICS valuation is how much is his property worth, kind of thing.
Oh, actually including the surveyor's estimates in PropertyEngine.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I understand that one. Jamie signed me up for a trial at the expo, but I never used it. Not sure if it's expired already. You should have been getting some emails from us. If not, you can just reach out to me, jamie@propertyengine.co.uk. I can get you set up with that. Idea, a good comparable flip filter. So it should work with the good comparables one that we have in beta, which, like I said, everyone's going to get access to shortly. Because it's looking at that value adds in the property. So flips should be suitable for those as well. But yeah, maybe we can dial that in as a separate thing. Yeah, again, this is all feedback that we need to get from people. That's why we're putting it out in beta. Is it only linked to Rightmove? No, we pull in stuff from Zoopla as well. Can PropertyEngine map the wards of a town? No, we don't have the wards. We do have the ward data, but we don't show it on the map at the moment. You will see the names of them, but not the actual boundaries. I use PropertyEngine every day. Previously used a different system, but switched over and never looked back. Thanks so much, Gary, for that feedback. What is the needs improvement filter based on? The needs modernizing filter. So what we do is we look out for about, I think it's about 120 different kind of phrases and keywords now in the description. We use a little bit of AI as well to kind of identify things in the description to flag those properties. In the future, we're looking at other ways that we can flag those properties up as well and do like a scale of how much something needs renovating. We use PropertyEngine to put together a refinance report on all of our HMOs. Yeah, that's a great use case for sure when you're using the reports. Is there a way to select which properties you use to calculate the GDV? So when you go into the comparable section, you can look at it on an individual comparable basis and yeah, just work out the GDV that way. The automatic GDV that I was showing earlier, that comes from the good comparables feature, which is that new feature I was talking about. But you can still dial that GDV into something specific from individual comparables you've looked at.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I would do as well. Like, say, if I'm looking for a property and I've found a comparable that like matches it better, obviously, then there's only so much that like AI in the system can do. You've got to use like your actual eyes on certain bits of it. But if you're like, right, okay, I've got this 3-bedroom property, it's the same square footage, but it's done to a really nice standard, then I'll take that property. Sorry, if the property that you've got is like slightly bigger, for example, you might say, okay, well, the average price per square foot or price per square meter is X amount for this really nice, this really good property. I'm going to then times that number, that price per square foot, by how large my property is. And then that should give you a good like bricks and mortar style evaluation of what that property could be in the area. Obviously, this doesn't work all the time, so don't take it as gospel, because there might be certain ceiling prices in particular areas where the house prices won't go over a certain amount just because the area won't allow. But at the same time, it can give you a little bit of an idea of being like, if the 200 grand house is 95 square meters, but then you've got a 105 square meters house that you're going to do to a similar standard, you might be able to add that extra value to it. And again, when it comes to putting your valuation report together, you go, this is why I think it's going to be this end value, because this property is bigger than this one. This one was worth that one when it sold, that much when it sold, and I've put these numbers together. So here you go. Here's a nicely wrapped package. Give me the valuation that I want, please, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the more work that you need to do in that capacity, the better, I think.
We should add a template, I think, for valuation reports, because so many people just sound like they're using the brochures for it. And obviously it does all the comparables, and you can add the text in. We should just have a little template, I think. Yeah, no, that's really good. Great idea, non-standard construction. I can see the same property listed with 2 agents and not coming up as required modernization on one of them. Yeah, it might be a timing thing, and it might be, yeah, just the description hasn't flagged it. Again, it's just meant as like a starting point. It saves, you know, if you've got 2,000 properties on Rightmove and you are looking for something that needs renovating, this is just like a short list to start off with. So there will be, you know, a very slight error margin on some of them.
Yeah, I mean, there was one that came up for me as well. It was like the HMO that I said that I was looking at before.
Yeah.
It was listed with one agent as a freehold and then listed with another agent as a leasehold. And I was actually traveling about 90 minutes to go view this property. So I cancelled my viewing because of this, and was like, rang the agent, told them, go find out if it's actually leasehold or freehold, because it was listed with 2 different agents. And it came back that the fact they had the owner of the property owned the freehold and owned the leasehold, but hadn't brought the titles together yet.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you're never going to be able to know that unless you actually do the work and call up the agent and ask the question.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so much the system and the computer can do. You need to be able to do the work a little bit yourself. But if you've got any questions and queries about that, I think the idea, just ring up the agents and ask the questions more than anything, really.
I think, yeah, like to add to that, like the whole point of a system like this is it's saving up your time from like the scrolling, you know, and just looking at hundreds of listings that aren't, you know, relevant for what you're doing. And it's freeing up your time to do the stuff that matters, which is, like Adam said, speaking to estate agents and building that local knowledge. So yeah, for sure. Someone is asking, I've lost where I was now on the questions. What was it? Yeah, is there a graph that shows if a property's been sold, fallen through, withdrawn? So when you're speaking to an agent, you know what the history is. So we have this timeline like I was showing earlier down here. So when you scroll all the way down, you can see, okay, it's sold, it was listed for sale, came back on the market, listed for sale, listed several times for sale, this one, then it was reduced in price, sold subject to contract, now it's back on the market, it's been reduced. So you can really see everything here in this timeline view. You can see everything that's going on. And like I said earlier, if you've made comments and notes, you'll see all of that in that timeline as well.
Yeah, well, that's dropped 30-something grand, hasn't it? 35 grand nearly. That's property just in that time. They must be pretty keen to set. Where's that property? Near Liverpool. The people in Liverpool.
Yeah,
keep
Liverpool,
an eye out. I mean, obviously, to me, it's screaming something. If I rang the agent on that one, for example, I'd be saying, has anyone done a structural report, or is there something that's going on there for it to go off?
There's a reason why people aren't swarming over this, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there a breakdown of features on different pricing packages? Yeah, so if you go onto a pricing page on our website, we have all the features listed out there. How do I know which membership I have? I've been using the platform for over 12 months now, but no D2B letters. You'll be on our starter package then. We just have the 2 packages. All right. I think, sorry, yes, a section for independent risk information on the property. Yeah, okay. I'd like an option to turn off include properties with missing data on the bedrooms and comparables tabs. Okay. Yeah, to save it as a preference. Okay, yeah, great feedback, thank you. Because at the moment you just do it when you go onto the comparables tab. Does it include does the history section include listings with other agents? Yes, it will, because we match it to the address, the full address, and then we're looking out for other listings with the with different agents. So you will see that in there, and that's probably what these are as well. You can go in and have a look at the property. Okay, in this case it's not, but if it was on with multiple agents, you would see that here. It would be great to put this history as a visual graph. All right, that's some great feedback. I think that is pretty much everything. I don't know if I've missed, maybe I missed a couple of questions. I'm not sure. There's a lot of stuff in here.
There's a load of stuff in there. We could be on here for ages. I think there's a lot of...
I know, yeah, we have to wrap it up.
A lot of different things at different points, but yeah, it's...
What I'll do,
I think
let me just get this.
Good stuff.
There's been a lot of really, really good questions. And thanks so much for your insight as well, Adam. It's been really helpful. I think, yeah, let me go on to this slide first, just so that people have the contact. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to me, jamie@propertyengine.co.uk. That's me on Instagram there. And yes, like I said earlier, follow Adam as well on Instagram, because he's always posting his projects on there. Really, really interesting. So definitely get onto his Instagram as well.
Yeah. If you are, and again, I'll just plug it whilst I'm here. If you are interested in you working with my team and us sourcing you a deal, or I can even show people a little bit more about the property engine side of things if they're needing more help and support with that. Drop me a message on Instagram, and I can point you in the right direction for all that kind of stuff as well, because we're sourcing deals very regularly now. I'm about to expand my team. I'm doing that training day with you, Jamie, for people around Yorkshire area and stuff as well. So that's going to be, well, I'm based in Leeds. I'm looking at taking about 20 people on as like deal sources and stuff with our team. So if people are wanting extra little bits of training and whatnot, and you're in that kind of area and working with us, then that'd be awesome as well. Just reach out on Instagram.
Yeah, Adam's Instagram there is, again, right there, at Adam Hindley Official. It will be on the recording as well. But yeah, for those of you who aren't signed up with Property Engine, if you did want to try it out, we're going to send out a link with an extended free trial after the webinar is finished, so you can try it out. Those of you from the Property Investor Show are already signed up for a free trial, so you should be getting those emails in your inbox with a link to log in if you haven't already. But yeah, like I said, we got the help videos. You're going to get the webinar recording as well. But any other questions, definitely reach out and get in touch with Adam as well, because he's happy to help out as well. Yeah, I think that's we've answered all the questions. There's one that came up about. There's one that just came up right now about exporting comparables, which you can do. You can export it to a spreadsheet. Yeah, but thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Like, I know we've overrun massively, but hopefully there's been some kind of good stuff in there. We've covered some new features, and also for those who are just checking this out, we've kind of walked through the whole end-to-end of finding a deal and packaging it up. So yeah, hope it's been helpful, everyone. We'll get the recording sent out tomorrow. Any other questions, just reach out to either one of us, all right?
Yeah, amazing. Well, cheers, guys, for that. And I think I knew when we started out, when you said, oh, we'll do about an hour. Well,
it's been almost 2 hours. I'm going to bed soon.
Yeah, I've got to drive and pick my mum and dad up from the airport after this, so I've got a long time to go.
Wow, okay. Yeah, no, the recording's not going out tonight anymore. It will be tomorrow now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thanks so much, Adam, for coming on as well. It's been really, really useful having you here, and providing your insight as well. Nice one. Thanks so much, everyone, and yeah, we'll send across the stuff tomorrow. Have a good evening.